Hello and welcome to our very first special edition episode, Viewer's Choice. You are listening to the Lads Talk podcast with Sadiq, Daniel, Garis, and Jamie. So before anything, guys, we did it. We hit 100 subscribers today.
Whoop, whoop, whoop,
Yep.
whoop,
We've hit 100.
It is Saturday, the 1st of April, 2023, and after nearly 4 months, nearly 15,000 views, 300 hours of watch time, and we are finally on 100 subscribers. So well done, pat on the back for everyone. Everyone give yourself a pat on the back. Yeah.
Man, you got a woody back. Jesus.
But today is very special because we are doing an episode based on what you, the viewer, finally have commented on. And if you want to get involved and you want to, be a part of these episodes, we now have a community tab. I think we always had a community tab, but we have a community tab. Just go to the community tab section and you'll find polls there. You'll find posts there, questions, and yeah, just get involved. Reply to us and get involved with the conversation. Now, so today the viewers voted for two topics in particular, and we'll see how far we can get because they're quite heavy topics. Maybe we have to do a couple of episodes. But one of the topics was relationships, and one topic was marriage. Okay, so relationships, I think we should start with because not everyone our age, as we saw in the polls, may be married right now. So I think we should start with relationships, and obviously we're talking about. We're no longer talking about bromance, we're talking about romance and romantic relationships and our thoughts and our opinions on them. So, if I could start then with just overall, anyone, what's our just normal thoughts on relationships?
I'll start. Why not?
Go for it, Jamie.
There's always going to be good side and a bad side. If you're going around saying something's perfect, then that's a lie straight away. Everyone has fights and arguments. No one's perfect. You almost need to have arguments and fights to have a healthy relationship. Because if you're bottling everything up and not expressing your feelings and your emotions, your wants and your needs, then you're going to have a bad time being with that person. And same for partner. You can't just be quiet and not talk. You need to have discussions, and sometimes a good fight or an argument now and again is alright, or as my granddad would say, a good ruck. You need to have a good ruck now and again and let all your emotions out, and afterwards you make up and you move on. But if you have the fights and you can't make on, that's where it's going to be the problem.
That's quite awesome. A good ruck, yeah? That's quite a good term.
Yes.
I think I might start using a good ruck. But then let me follow up for you, Jamie, then, yeah? What do you look for if you in a relationship? Obviously, we're going to get to our opinions on relationships in a little bit, but what do you look for in a relationship?
What would I look for? I look for someone with an open mind, to any and everything, because that's how I am. So I would like someone to be the same. Someone with an open mind, not anything specific about them. I look for, I don't care about hair color, skin color, if they're a certain religion or anything like that. Nothing specific in that field, but just in general, someone with a open mind, obviously a nice enough personality, maybe a hint of craziness, good sense of humor, even to the point where he laughs at unfunny stuff. Just a nice person, I guess, in general.
And what about then like age difference? Would that play a role for you?
To an extent, obviously. I'm not going to have someone completely. I'd say if I was 40, I'm not going to be having someone in their 20s, and then vice versa. Now, I wouldn't look for someone. Maybe I'd say, let's put a limit on it, maybe 3 years, 4 years older, nothing more. Any 5 years or older than me, nah, that's too much. I'd say 3 years or so older than me is fine.
Fair enough.
And then obviously same younger. But nothing drastic.
Okay, let's move the question on to Garis then, yeah? Garis, what are your thoughts and opinions on relationships in general?
So, in my opinion, what makes a good relationship is communication is the most important thing. Like, you need to understand each other, and when it comes to fights, when you have arguments or fights, you need to find a way that it doesn't get messy and toxic. like down to both the individuals itself. And yeah.
Okay, well, it's interesting, Gareth, that you mentioned about being toxic and things like that. But in your opinion, what does a toxic relationship look like then?
Having um like mini breakups or proper breakups. And when I think it's mainly focused on arguments. And the reason why I'm saying this is, like I've experienced it myself, and involving someone like a third person in, yeah, not letting you be free, say what you want and do what you want. So basically, being controlling.
Okay, do you have like a specific story, a specific example you want to share?
I'm just coming out of a breakup. Yeah, how long? I think I have 5 months now being single, and my last relationship. Yeah, I've taken so many lessons. It's been ups and downs, and I can take a lot of lessons out of it to learn and how to improve my whenever I'm ready for my next relationship, for especially the red flags and myself. Yeah, so the examples I can give is when having arguments, you don't really sit down and talk, like fully have, like, let's say, mature adult conversation, like fully talk it out, understand each other's feelings. The second thing is bringing a third person, man, like that fully just messes it up just to a different level. No, it always should be you and your partner, no one else.
Oh, okay, so when you mentioned third person, obviously viewers might be thinking all sorts of madness right now. So what does that mean exactly? Like, what do you mean by that?
So one of you goes out your way, instead of doing it the right way, which is having a mature adult conversation, just you two, no one else. You go out your way, you go and tell your friend, "Oh, this happened," and then you bring them in. So now it's yourself, your significant other, as well as that friend. And from my experience, it's not healthy. It's really, really, really toxic to another level, and it just makes the situation 10 times worse than it already is. What I experienced is, instead of opening up the feelings to me, they go straight to their friend and say it, and then I hear it through them, or they get involved. In this case, the friend is toxic, so of course it's going to make the situation worse because they're not going to give the right advice. So that's what I mean by it makes the situation 10 times worse.
Okay, so what happens then if, let's say, for example, one person in the relationship feels like their emotions aren't being regulated, they just need someone else to talk to and vent it out because they can't talk to their partner, then what would you say in that scenario?
But there's no point in saying such a thing because communication is key. So if you cannot talk it out, so what's the point?
What's the point? Meaning, let's say if someone feels like they can't communicate with their partner, yeah, it's like a dead end, it's a dead wall. What should they do?
Get me even.
Yeah.
They should just leave
Yeah,
him.
if there's no
Yeah.
communication
Straight
and you
up.
don't feel safe,
Yeah.
you don't have that safe place where you can open up and stuff, there's no point.
I haven't experienced this, so I don't know. If I was, I probably agree with Daniel. If you can't talk it out, there is no point. That's one of the main things. Communication, talking. If you can't feel comfortable, then, as Daniel said, what can you do? You can't talk through someone like they're like a messenger or something. You got to speak to each other. No point going to this person. Yes, tell them that, and then you go to then the other way around. Yeah, tell him that, and then I'll tell her that. Pointless. What's the point? Ain't gonna work out. Eventually, that person that they're communicating through is gonna get tired of it and tell them, like, talk it out.
The thing that's sticking out to me then, yeah, how do you know that you're with the right person? If you're in a relationship, how do you know that's the right person? Because then what it seems like is, actually, I'll hold my comment for a second. But how do you know that you're in the right relationship? How do you know you're with the right person? Do you understand? If you have to go through these people like test trials and stuff, how do you get to that answer?
I don't know. For me, it's confusing, man. Like at the beginning, it seemed like it was, but then over time, then she changes, isn't it?
And the reason that changed is because of a third person that intervened and said this, that, this, that, this, that. And then it gets to a point where like, why do you want to be in a space where like there's so much demand? Like you're not meant to be like this. You're meant to do this, that, this, that. Why not be accepted for who you are? I guess in a way it's fine, like elevating and stuff. Where yeah, we should work towards this and that. But it's like, why are you gonna make me feel like, oh yeah, I'm not good enough, or yeah, I need to go gym to be like this, or I need to make a certain amount of money, or this and that for me to be good enough for you. don't really make sense, does it?
If the person in question is compatible for you, and I'll use an example, they wouldn't want you to. They wouldn't want someone starting off, successful, all the money, all the fame, blah blah blah. You'd want to work with each other and level each other up. So you'd start from, let's say you're poor, you've got 1 bedroom flat, you've just got a little mattress on the floor in the room. If someone's that decent and that good, they won't want you just for the money. They date you, even if you ain't poor, even if you're not rich, if you're not successful, if you're not famous, if you're not whatever. You'd help each other out and build each other up. So you'd start from poor, I guess, or just bad, and then you'd end up good. If someone was horrible, they just want you when you're already at the top. A good person, they'd want you from the bottom, and then you'd help each other up to the top. No matter what your life situation is, they'd still like you or want to be with you, no matter what part of life you're in. So I think a good person is.
Okay, that's fine. I would add. What I wanted to add as well is, what I think Danielle said is that third person changes them, etc. But like for me, if a person is good from the get go, no one can change them, isn't it? Do you know what I mean?
Exactly.
And maybe the first or the second time they listen to that third person, but then afterwards, surely they should clock on that. Hold on, why is it when I talk to them everything's negative? Do you know what I mean? And why is it not that? When I speak to them, why is there never anything positive? Do you understand? And if you notice that, like, there's ways to deliver negative news, yeah, and some people don't either. I don't think they don't know how to do it. I think they choose not to. I think they just want to keep it negative because of all sorts of reasons. See, one important point that I feel like you said, Garis, yeah, is when you said it's not equal, yeah. So my point is, people always say this phrase, and I'm sure everyone's heard it, is in a relationship is 50-50. But we all know that, or we should know that in a relationship it's not 50-50, it should be 100-100. Because if you're only giving half of yourself to that person, then you're not really fully in that relationship. Do you understand? That's why there's inequality, and that's why it's imbalanced and it's unbiased.
I think it depends. It's like different aspects, if that makes sense. Emotionally 100-100, that's fine. Then house chores, it should be 50-50, for example. And then finances, even worse. Yeah, let's talk about finances, right? 50-50.
No, we can.
Yeah.
Just to clarify, yeah. So what I meant is obviously emotionally, the actual relationship
Then
part,
100-100,
that should be 100-100. Yeah, 100-100. Like the feelings part, the mental part has to be 100-100. The finance and the chores or whatever, that can be whatever it is, the percentage, yeah. But see, here's the point, okay? So a couple of weeks ago, I think some of my students asked me, yeah, and they said to me, "Oh, sir, do you have a girlfriend?" They said to me, yeah. I said, "No, Haram." Yeah, this
sounds like a GT, bro. No, Haram.
Yeah, Haram, innit? Like I said, look, basically they asked me why is that, yeah. So I said, because look, how many test drives are you going to do? Do you understand? It's like you get into a relationship with someone, test drive them, see, oh, okay, is this work? Does that work? Are they the right person? Oh, they're not. Okay, and then I move on to someone else. Now you, on your record, you don't have a clean slate, and the person who you're with, they no longer have a clean slate, and then the next relationship, do people have like 10 partners or 12 partners or whatever? And it doesn't make sense, because you're meant to, it's called a soulmate for a reason, right? Your soul is connected to someone else's soul. But you've already kind of dirtied yourself, and you've kind of put a blemish on your record that, yeah, I've already been with someone else. That's why Islamically, anyway, it's that you are with one person, and you get with them, and then you learn and you grow. And what Jamie said, it's not about getting with someone who's already successful, who's already at the top. You don't even know what their character is like, yeah, except for what you've seen, what you've heard, etc. And you build up on it. And this is the thing that people don't do nowadays. A relationship goes, obviously I'm not relating to everyone.
One thing goes wrong.
Exactly, Jamie. One thing goes a tiny bit wrong,
and that's it. Yeah, give up.
And they give up. It's like, oh no, I can't be.
Run away.
The amount of people, like, if I look at my parents, yeah, but if I look at my parents, I think they've been married 30 something years, yeah. The amount of times, I'm sure that they've had so many arguments, toxic fights, etc. But what happened? Did they give up? They're still there. Do you know what I mean? Because they wanted to work through it. Do you understand? So they wanted to work through, and they got through. Obviously, we could talk about cultural
That's what I
stuff
was
as well
gonna
in
say
another
just
time.
now.
But yeah, we're gonna we can talk about cultural influence as well. But the core principle is that if you want to make it work with someone, you'll always make it work with someone. And the reason why in Islam you're not meant to play about like that is because how many people are you going to mess about with? Do you understand? Or how many people are you going to take for a test drive and then see where it goes and then whatever? It's not meant to be like that. Stick with one person, you make it work with them, and that's it. And that's why, another question my students ask me is, marriage. Oh my God, I couldn't do marriage. You're stuck with one person the rest of your life. I'm like, isn't that the point? Isn't that the point? Like, you tell people that you love them, you tell people that you're in love with them, and then you're not going to be with them the rest of your life. Like, what's that all about? How does that make sense? Do you understand? If you can't commit to them, like forever, like full time, do you actually love them? Or is that relationship just based on nothing? Do you understand? So that's kind of where I am with my opinions on relationships or whatever. That it has to be either, one and done, yeah, or none. Does that make sense?
Yeah, there's something there's something I found. What was it? I don't know if it was a quote or something I saw before, but basically the person was saying, if it's a one-way battle, if only one person's trying, it's not going to work. You need both of them to commit and try. So if it's one person trying, any other person's basically giving up or starting to, then obviously it's not going to work. You both have to commit. You both have to try. If one person's trying, obviously it's not going to work because either they're going to get tired, or I keep trying and you're doing nothing, or you keep going, well, look, she's not interested. What's the point? I might as well stop and move on. So you both have to work it. If it's one person, like a one-way street, you can only go that way. You can't drive the other way. Obviously, it's not going to work out.
100%. You're right for that.
Yeah, he is. And sometimes one person goes cold and the other person loses a lot of motivation. Do you know what I mean? But I know plenty of scenarios where, even if one person on one side is cold, the other person puts a lot of effort in and really works hard and, really gives it the all, tries to think outside the box, tries to change things up, and it works, and there's this quote or something I saw the other day, and someone said something like, if you are thinking about how to change them, then they're not the one for you, or something along those lines, yeah. Because if you're thinking about how to change someone's personality and character to suit you, then do they really suit you? Does that make sense? Do you guys?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. Like if a girl looks at a guy and says, oh yeah, he's not got a really high paying job, oh, I'll fix that. If that's how you're thinking, I don't think that's the right kind of thing, because how do you know that guy's not happy with his job or his career or his life choices? He might be happy and you might be taking that happiness away from him,
That thing you said, walk in, and is it the same actually? That thing you said, go in blind and leave, is that kind of like that, or am I being dumb?
Go in blind and what?
You said you go into someone's house blind and you leave deaf.
Yes.
That weird saying.
Yeah.
Is it like that?
That's it. Yep. So in a way, what are you saying? You go into a relationship blind and you leave deaf.
That's what I'm saying. Is it similar, like you said, with someone's house or someone's job? Like, remember that?
So it's not identical.
Yeah,
I mean, no. See, what you're saying, that actually applies to, the third person that Garis mentioned, Daniel mentioned. The third person, when you see someone's relationship, you go to and look at the relationship blind, yeah, and you come out deaf because you don't want to be the reason, the catalyst for them going wrong. Do you understand? They might be happy, like, I get what you're trying to say, Jamie, yeah? They might be happy with what they've got. They might be happy with their holidays. They might be happy with their money and how they live their life. And you're going in there pointing out flaws. Oh, he doesn't take you here. He doesn't do that. She doesn't do this. She doesn't do that. And you're just wrecking everything for no reason, Jealousy. One of the biggest reasons, like you guys said, that marriages, relationships don't work is actually outside sources and outside people. And you see that a lot more nowadays. Do you know what I mean? And that's why people shouldn't advertise their relationship on TikTok, and they shouldn't advertise their relationship on social media.
Like that, saying status.
Publicly. You should never advertise your relationship publicly, because as a Muslim as well, I believe in evil eye. People are not happy with anyone. There's just a jealousy exists. And number two is people will always point out stuff Do you understand? And I feel like unless you're documenting your relationship, like for your own personal thing privately, that's fine. But some people look for validation from others that everything's okay.
Outside sources, yeah.
That's
Like,
it.
is this alright? Am I doing okay? You should know yourself, or speak again. Communication. Speak with each other. What's going right? What's going wrong? Am I doing this okay? I think you need to fix up on these areas. I need to fix up on these areas. Let me know them. Bringing in all these other people, yeah, they're going to ruin it. Or ruin something that isn't ruined. That's just them.
And I think there's one other thing, yeah. You know, in a relationship, you know when it becomes physical, yeah. I think that's
Oh
when
my yeah.
you know there's a
That's
big
it. That's the last
there's
straw.
a big problem, yeah. And I'll tell you, on the poll, actually, it's funny that they asked for a juicy story, yeah. So I'll tell you a juicy story. On the day that I finished memorizing the Quran, yeah, my friends took me to a pizza shop to eat, and on the way there we see like a group of like not teenagers, like in the early 20s, yeah, these group of young people, early 20s. I was only 15, yeah. And there was this guy and his partner, okay. I don't know if she's his wife or whatever. And he's arguing with her in public out loud. It looks like quite a toxic argument, yeah. So obviously, me being scared, introverted, whatever, me and my friends, we just went into the pizza shop and we start what's it called, like ordering the food. And then, you know, when you order food, you start walking around a little bit. So we're seeing outside, and I see him slap the woman, yeah, in broad daylight. He slaps the lady, and I'm like, oh my god, this is so scary, yeah. Next thing, it doesn't take 3 seconds, those group of 20-year-olds or whatever grabbed him, whacked him on the floor, kicking his face, kicking his teeth, and punching him. His face is so bloodied up. He comes into the pizza shop crying to use like the bathroom, and he's like washing his face, and the lady like is chasing after him as well. And honestly, it just made me freeze. Like, what kind of, do you know what I mean? Like, what kind of situation am I just looking at? Like, what is this dynamic? Do you know? Do you get where I'm coming from? Like, what a thing to witness. And if a relationship enters that mode, I think it's because look, there's going to be two types of people listening right now, yeah. There's going to be one type of saying, well, the woman's probably pushing the guy to his limits, and you know, yeah, he snapped. And then there's the other side who's like, the guy, you should never lay your hands on a woman, you should never hit each other, you know, like the two obvious answers that you're going to get, yeah.
Two sides of the coin.
Two sides of the coin. But my point is, like, why are you guys allowing yourself to get to that point? So what's gone wrong? What's missing that you haven't fixed that it's gone to that point?
That's why it gets to that
Speak with
point. It's communication.
Communication,
it's really bad. It's really toxic. They don't know how
You need to
to
talk
do it
it
in a
out.
way
Or go to someone.
it doesn't make the situation worse, and they can better it, or even in like, you know, small steps.
Therapy of some sort.
You know what's the worst thing? Yeah, when someone like keeps everything inside them, and you're like, they expect you to know everything, like even though they didn't like talk to you. Like,
Mind reading.
what am I, a mind reader, bro? Well, yeah, I've been inside for 5 days. Yes, so what? Like, what did I do? Yeah, you should know. Well done. Well, shut up, bro. Just say it and be easy, bro. I need to know what you done, bro. Like, do I have time to like? Yeah, basically yesterday night you fought it, and I found that really upsetting.
Oh
Like,
my.
what do you mean, you know?
That'll be me.
Nah, that I see that so much.
That'll
Like,
be me.
you know,
But in that scenario, Danielle, I would say, I think you should change your diet if that's the case. Okay, I think you will fix your relationship. Just change your
What?
diet.
that's
It's gonna
fine.
be okay, Danielle. Okay.
Thank you for your help.
Okay.
Man.
No
Right,
problem.
change
Maybe
my
have some
diet.
Gaviscon.
Wow.
You got
Yeah.
you got heartburn. all
Wow,
sorts of madness.
indirection. Love it.
Huh?
I see you. That's fine.
Oh my god.
I'll go vegan. Fine.
See
Some
the.
vegetable farts. Watch Hannah next time we're down.
See, then there's some people listening to that and they're thinking, okay, there's some, oh, that's very selfish, yeah. But then in a relationship, are you allowed to be selfish in a relationship? Let's start with Jamie, because I feel like Jamie's not been able to be heard that much today. But Jamie, are you allowed to be selfish in a relationship? Even, you know what, we say relationship. I know I said we're moving away from bromance, yeah, but we can do bromance. We can talk about friendships as well, and like romantic relationships. But are you allowed to be selfish in any sort of relationship like that?
There was a show I've been recently watching. I'm gonna take it from there because how they explained it in the show made sense. So it's not you're gonna be selfish, you're gonna have a selfish day. You know, like you take time. It's kind of like booking a holiday at work. Like, okay, so these exact dates or this date or this weekend, I'm gonna do something for me. So it's not that you're being selfish. They explained it as you're gonna have a selfish or just have a selfish day, basically. Like this weekend, I go off on my own, do my own thing, have some self awareness, have some alone time, and then obviously, right, this weekend you can go either on your own or you can go girls' weekend away, spa and everything. You know, calm yourself down, chill out, and get back to square one, so to speak.
What about you, Daniel?
Selfish. No. Why would you want to be selfish?
Is it not important to be a bit selfish in a relationship?
For why?
Like giving yourself time that you need, time alone, freedom. At the end of the day, you are giving like your entire emotion, even your time and stuff, to another person. And before that moment, before you met them, you were just a single person. You're just doing stuff for yourself, and then you no longer do stuff just for yourself. You have another person to look out for, and look towards.
No, I don't think so. You should just like make a thing like both of you should be like that. If that like let me try this again. Yeah, you should communicate it and be like, oh yeah, this is like my time and this is your time. So if you're gonna go out, you can go out, and if I need to go out, I can go out.
But that is selfish, isn't it?
Not really.
That's selfish time.
No, how? It goes both ways.
Maybe because
It's
the
not
word,
selfish.
maybe because I'm using the word selfish, it sounds negative. Yeah, selfish just means you just focus on yourself. Like, I need free space, my own space. Does that make sense?
Yeah, but it goes
Having your
both
own
ways,
space.
and it doesn't count as selfishness. It's more like
Yeah, so both people
does
need selfish time, no?
how what? Not really, because it goes both ways. So that's not selfish. If it goes both ways, selfish is taking advantage and like caring about yourself more. That's not really it, is it? Though?
So then let me use then my own space. Yeah,
Yeah,
like own
sure.
space, own
Yeah.
time. You need
Yeah.
that, yeah. Okay. So then, what advice could you give then to someone who's refusing to give personal space to their partner just because they're in a relationship?
I mean, if they ain't getting any space, then fair enough. Or other than that, if they are, then like you should talk it out. Be like, look, I need my space. You're annoying.
Can I give my opinion on it?
And yeah, of course, Garis.
So yeah, so I do agree with what you said, Sadiq, and what you said, Daniel. But this is just from my personal opinion and from my experience. You need to be selfish, but there's different types of selfishness.
Yeah.
Ness.
Like
Selfishness. Yeah.
the mistake I did was
Selfishicity.
So the mistake I did was I don't really focus on myself, and I focused more purely on my, let's say, partner back then. I focused more on her and how to keep her happy and stuff and all of that, etc., etc. So I didn't focus on myself. So I didn't. All right, let's go deep. So I didn't spend money on myself. I didn't spend time with my loved ones outside. Besides her, there's only two I can think of right now, but there's more. But you get what I'm trying to say. So you need to be selfish too. Go on.
But then I feel like,
But
for example, yeah, there's a difference between you and someone getting married. It's like if you're married to someone, you're gonna be with them like 24/7. Whereas like you had this thing going on where like you met them every now and then, if that makes sense. Even though you did give them time over social media or like calls, whatever, it wasn't like the same thing as spending 24/7 and living in the same house and stuff. It's like in a way, if they're not there for like a day or a few hours, you won't really feel as like what's the word, as not lost, as like what's the word?
What, like needy?
Yeah, you won't feel as needy,
I
if that
mean,
makes sense. because you see them 24/7, you're eating with them, everything, and at times you might get bored of the person. You're like, yeah, I want me time right now. Does that make sense?
I wanted to add a point to the marriage thing, but I think I'm going to leave it for next time because there's a lot to get through. But Jamie, what about you? And we'll finish on your point. Do you think it's important to be selfish? Have you answered
Yeah, he
this question
did.
already? Oh,
Yeah, I
he's
was
already done.
saying, but I changed it slightly. I said in the show, you'd have a selfish. So, like, basically what Daniel said a minute ago. Like, at some point, you're going to have some you time. Say, okay, tomorrow I want to go off and do my own thing, have some alone time. Get back to square one, so to speak. And then say, right, you can have your girly weekend or your girly night tonight, go to a spa, get some whatever pedicures, whatever girls do, nails, hair, and have some
To
you time.
wait,
That's
to
a
my
bit
point, one more
sexist
thing
by
I'll
you.
add is so you know how my points
Okay,
were
then.
Such a stirrer, isn't it?
you know how I said you
Stirring
need
the
to be
pot.
selfish. So my, let's say, advice would be whatever you do to your partner, you should do it to yourself. Wait, let me explain that. Let me explain.
That's not wrong. Two
Oh.
levels, bro. 2 levels.
Oh my gosh, whatever you do.
Does that mean like give
Yeah,
and
man,
take?
reached
What
up.
wrong?
Damn.
Right there. That took a drastic change, bro.
Huh?
I just wanna say, wait, before he carries on, I'm just gotta show it. I need to go, And what he said, keep it in as well. I just wanna say that it's a beautiful point. Shakespeare like nonetheless. In a bit, boys.
So what I'd say is, like, coming
Okay,
back
Gary's
to my
gone.
point, as in what I said, it did sound a bit mad. An example that I give, so you guys can understand, like the viewers, I really didn't give, let's say, time to myself. Like, I would always be talking to them, and with money, I spend so much on them. But when it comes to me, when I go for shopping, when I look at things, I'm there like, I'm not gonna buy it. It's too much because I think we spoke about another episode. I'm like I'm a savings guy. I'm not a spender. I try to reduce. I try to not spend as much. I only need to spend when I need to. So let's say I buy gifts or just anything. Yeah, bruv, I would look at the money. I would just be like, ching, 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 and then it goes to I'll give it as a gift. But then when I come to myself, I'm looking. I'm like, oh, I like this product. Oof. It's okay. Let's say let's say I bought a gift for that's like £100. Yeah, £100 plus, and then there's something that's £20. Yeah, I look here and I'm like, that's a bit too much. Can't lie. I think I have to skip this. And then after things didn't work out and stuff, and when I had my time to reflect, I was there like, what? Like I realized I didn't spend on myself. So you need to be equal. Does that make sense?
That does make sense. Yeah, so we learned a couple of lessons today then.
I would say communicating is literally right on top of there. Obviously, we went deeper, but with me, religion comes in. But before that, communication is right up there. It's number one.
So you have communication, you have self-love as much as you love the other person as well. And especially being a little bit selfish can help a lot. Yeah, we learned that being selfish is really important at times. So that's why right now I'm also going to be very selfish because we need you to subscribe to Lads Talk, okay? Subscribe to the YouTube, follow us on Instagram, TikTok. We once again have finally kicked Garis up the backside and he's now posting. We are now on we have a page on LinkedIn as well.
We're expanding.
So we're moving we're expanding, we're moving to different areas as well. So we hope once again, actually, thank you so much for 101 subscribers and thank you for being part of this journey. Make sure you keep in touch with us through the community tab. Or if you want to get in touch with us for something else, you can email us at talkwiththelads@gmail.com. And one last thing before it slips my mind, Yes, so now that we have hit 100 subscribers, or more than 100 subscribers, we want to keep our promise. There is a £10 Amazon gift card giveaway. All you have to do is make sure you're subscribed. Comment down below on our YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, and just say whatever you want, to be honest. But any video, just leave a comment, leave a like on the video, make sure you're subscribed, and we will definitely get in touch with you. We will be selecting the winner at random, so leave as many comments as you want. Maybe it gives you a bigger chance to win, who knows. But last but not least, the quote of the week this week.
A secret to happiness is letting every situation be what it is instead of what you think it should be, and then making the best out of it.
And there you have it. Thank you so much for 100 subscribers one more time. Thank you so much to Daniel, Garis, and Jamie for joining us today on the podcast. We've been the Lads Talk podcast. You've been amazing listeners, and we hope you'll continue to listen to us for many more days and years to come. But until next time, goodbye.